Shannon, thank you again for coming back on. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
It's always a pleasure talking with you. Now, but the last time I saw you, it was at Zebulon.
Yes,
Do you recall this? Because I think that you had a lot to drink, not me. No way it was me.
that's weird because I thought it was you.
I think that you're just so drunk that you think that I was drunk. Because,
Okay.
you know,
I think you bought me some drinks. Thank you. With that
always do the most for
vineyard
my
money.
guests.
Hmm.
It's yeah, and it's flowing. And that brings us to our first ad read here. BetterHelp. No, it was really great to see you though and chit chat with you. I can't remember what show that was, but it was a good
I
one.
I don't remember either. I just remember talking to you and I guess me being very drunk and funny.
It was
That's
a
it.
it was a good time. It was a good time. But yeah, that was the last time that we bumped into each other. But I wanted to ask you, do you like to have a drink or two before you go on stage? Is that something that you like to do, or you just like to go stone sober?
I try not to. We in the clams, there's like we're so I think the secret to our continued existence is that we're like pretty um clean squares. So I do love to do some drinking and be merry with friends, but I try to not get drunk. I got browned out like 10 years ago at a show. Maybe it was longer at this little crazy gay bar in San Francisco. And I was so ashamed that I like swore to my band that I would never do that again, and I haven't. So occasionally maybe I'll have like a drink as I'm going on stage and then maybe a drink on stage. But no, I try to not.
What do
Yeah.
you like to drink usually? What's your drink of choice in those situations?
In those situations, um maybe like a warm to almost hot water with some whiskey in it. But what I really like is like a tequila soda water with some bitters in it.
I
What's your
know
first choice?
first choice because usually I'll just get a beer when I'm out and about. But if I'm getting a mixed drink, an old fashioned's very nice. I like that.
Hmm.
Usually do whiskey unless somebody's or bourbon unless somebody's like we're doing tequila whatever.
You did some tequila when we were at that show.
I wouldn't doubt it. And but it's very rare that I don't drive to a show. That was one of the nights I wasn't driving, so I was like, oh, I'll have a bunch of drinks,
Yeah.
which is always so nice. And shout out to Andrew for driving. He was nice enough to drive there.
Maybe he'll remember what the show was.
I will ask him, and I'll get back to you about that. In more current news here, we got the new 7-inch that was just released, what, 2 days ago or so?
Yeah.
Wow. And that's I'm a Fool. And it's out now via Easy Eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And that was a track that was recorded in the sessions for this last album that was released.
Yes.
That's awesome. But it was cut. That it didn't make it onto the album.
Right.
Mm. How many
That more
times
wax and string. Had
uh,
to cut two songs.
is it more often than not that you're cutting something from an album that just some things don't make it on to each release?
Probably almost every record we've ever done, something was cut off. Yeah. Because it's really because of timing, you know. Um, we like to keep a short length record, and Easy Eye really likes a short record. Like they wish that it was like 10 songs long. But we had to squeeze a few extras on there. And yeah, unfortunately, two had to be cut. But we made a deal where we were like, we love every song. We don't want them to just be cut and put into oblivion. If we have to cut two songs, then we want to put out a 7-inch.
Ooh, good. And what
And
did they say? They said, yeah.
Yes. They said yes.
Okay, good. Is it always difficult to decide which ones are going to be cut? Is it always a like a oh, I don't want that one to be cut, but unfortunately it has to be?
Sometimes it's pretty clear. For me, it was clear it was going to be those two, only because they were the content, the lyrics, the themes, they were the least uh about like the loss of Joe. They were like the least they were like a little more I don't know, open to interpretation, even though they definitely have their meanings when they were written, but to me they just felt like the least uh about grief.
Hmm.
And it was important to me. It was like, are we doing this or not? Like I feel like I can't put any couldn't put anything on there that wasn't um fully soaked in that experience, you know.
Right. And is I'm a Fool the first song to feature someone outside of yourself and Cody to not have you guys singing uh lead vocals on it?
No, we have a song on the record called UFO that Will sings as well.
Were both those songs something that he brought to the table, or was it a collaborative effort between everybody?
Collab. So for I'm a Fool, actually, that was something Nate, our drummer, brought. He brought it and to me, I just couldn't, it was hard for me to like hear where it was going because of the lyrics and like the original structure. I just like didn't I think I was like too deep in my songwriting process that it was hard for me to understand those like I don't know, the content and stuff. And but Will really saw a lot of potential in the song. And I mean, I saw potential, but I think if I wasn't in like the deep emotional state I was in, I would have been like more open-minded. But Will like was like, "No, no, no, let's mess with it again." And we were like, "Okay, well, we are gonna have to cut something, but okay, let's do it. Will's got a vision." And so it was like Nate's Nug, we call him Nugs. So it went from Nate's Nug to Will's Baby. And then we all kind of, after it started to get to a place where it started to develop as like a real feeling song, then I started piping in and helping rework the structure a little bit and helping with figuring out backup vocals and stuff like that. So it was a group effort.
Do you look at making music as a communal thing, a communal process, or is it there's some aspects of it that's individual in some cases?
Um, Both. I think both of those things can be true. Like, so UFO, I would say was another, that's one that Will sings lead on. That was another one where it started off with like a nug that we'd kind of come up with while rehearsing for our album, just like songwriting together, which was something we'd never quite done before. Um, so we were messing around with that and Will got really into it and kind of like took over it and put a lot of his songwriting into making the song real. And I don't it wouldn't have turned out that way if everyone was constantly putting in exact equal effort. Um it got like fostered and yeah, by Will. But sometimes I just want the song to be how I wrote the song. Sometimes I'll write a song and I'll have a super crystal clear idea of how I want it to be. And then um the boys are really good at making that happen, you know?
I'm sorry, Shannon. I was dying a
Are
little
you
bit at the
okay?
end. Yeah, hey, I'll be all right. I got my crystal geyser here. I'm ready to crack it open here in a minute. But do you view your solo work as more of an individual, kind of in that living in that realm of you have a crystal clear idea and you're gonna execute it the way that you want to execute it?
I think that the next time I do a solo record, which is probably going to be pretty soon, it's going to be more like that.
Mm.
Whereas the other time I did a solo record, um, it was collabs. It was like me working with Dan Auerbach. I did bring some songs that I had a pretty clear vision for, but then he brings in all these session guys that are like way more talented and have just so much more time and knowledge under their belt of I don't know where they could take things. So everything got changed from my main idea a little, at least a little bit. Like the arrangements or stuff are things I would never have fathomed. Um, or the production, obviously. But so I think next time I'm gonna have more confidence and be able to kind of direct more.
I like it. You're gonna have a chair and sit there and kind of go over scripts and whatnot as well.
Yeah. hmm I'm gonna be like, move over, Dan. Let me do what I want. Listen
Yeah,
to me.
right. And you are gonna be working on the Black Keys new album, producing it and mixing
Yes.
it and mastering it.
They're gonna love that.
They're gonna love it, and the people are gonna love it as well.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. You finished up that Australian leg of the oh, and shout out to Red Bull. Should we do it now? We should just plug it now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the flavor again?
Juneberry.
Juneberry. Okay.
Sea Blue Edition Red Bull Juneberry artificially flavored energy drink. It vitalizes body and mind.
And we love Red Bull. It's so good. It's the best stuff, and it gives you wings, and we're all about that around here. We like to do extreme shit. Um,
Seriously.
like jumping off of cliffs, cliff diving and stuff, and
Mm,
racing trains on motorcycles, that kind of stuff. That's like who we are.
yeah,
Yeah.
who we are.
But you finished up the Australian leg of the most recent album release tour, not
hmm
too long ago, right?
Like a month and yeah, maybe 5 weeks ago or so.
Okay, so pretty kind of a long time ago now. I apologize for that. But
It's all relative, buddy.
when you're on
Uh,
Red Bull, I mean that you're just fucking zooming. I read that you guys really enjoyed that tour, and that was one of the best tours that you guys have been on.
it was amazing. It was
Um,
amazing.
well, what makes a tour great? What made that one so great?
Um, so when we're on tour, um, we don't usually get time to really like soak in a town and spend time and walk around and see things and meet people, make friends. Like we don't get time to do that. But this tour, it's like every day we were in the same region for a couple of days. Or like we'd be in Sydney and stay in the same hotel for 5 days and maybe a show would be in Sydney and then it would be an hour away the next show. So we had like time to sleep there and get up, walk around, do whatever, and then make it to the show and still come back and be in Sydney again. So we just had a great experience, like actually getting to like feel Australia and hang out with people. I feel, it's hard to really get to know a city's like feel and identity if you're just driving all day, you pull in, you load in your gear, you wait to sound check, and then you get ready backstage, and then you play, and then you wait to break down, and then you load the van, and then you get in the van and you leave. That's what a lot of tour is.
But not
So
this
it
one.
was, well, no, and it was beautiful. It was summer there. There's all these critters and the weather's insanely beautiful. We were at the beach almost every day. Yeah.
Who'd you have opening up the shows for that leg?
Oh, Um, quite a few people. There was this band from San Diego that played the last 2 shows with us. Do you know them? I can't remember what they're called.
I don't know.
Fuck.
Let
Can't
me
remember.
let me tell you this, Shannon. Your Australia is my San Diego. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty on par.
Do you ever go out to Hakamba?
No, what is that?
Hakamba Hot Springs is like an amazing, beautiful hot spring resort that's run by really cool, creative people. And it's an hour and 15 minutes east of San Diego. I've been going there a lot lately, DJing and playing little secret acoustic shows and stuff. Should look it up. JacumbA.
What was the first band that you as the Clams opened up for on tour? Do you remember the first people
Ever.
who took you up? Yeah, who took you out on the road?
This band called Forever from Portland. But yeah, our first national tour they booked. And I booked some too. That was back in the MySpace days.
What was it? What do you recall from that tour specifically? Did you enjoy it?
I that was a really hard tour because they'd suffered like a big loss in the first few days, so they were all kind of struggling emotionally. And then it was just, I think, stressful to already be a small band and then bringing like a tiny band with you. And just a lot of like it was hard logistically. We went really far in a short amount of time. We had shows every night. We had some shows that, there was just a few people at, but we also had played shows where we like made friends that we still have to this day, which I think is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And it was my first time booking some stuff, and all the shows I booked were like a good experience pretty much. But yeah, it was there's a lot of high points and a lot of low points on that tour.
Who was the first band that you brought out to open up for you guys on a tour?
This band called the Half Rats. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're from Indiana, but they back to San Diego. They were like beloved in the San Diego skate community because one the this guy used to put on this really fun festival called Johnny Rad Fest down there, and he's a pro skater, and those were all his hometown friends from Indiana. So, yeah, they were really good. Kind of like oldies. I don't know, maybe kind of like that, that thing you do.
Yeah, the movie.
I feel like a lot of their music sounded like that thing you do. I think that's the first band we brought on tour. Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. Do
They no
you
longer play either.
but they were good when they were playing, right?
They were amazing. Yeah.
Hey, all right, not bad. Uh, do you like to go out into the audience and, you know, check the opening band out from that perspective, or do you kind of just like to, stick behind the stage and kind of just check it out from that vantage point, or a little bit of both?
So I used to always want to go out there, but now I lose my voice pretty easily, and I've learned all these ways to not lose it, and like not talking over loud music is something I need to work on. And it's not, I can't really go into the audience of a show we're playing and not have lots of very sweet people want to come say hi. And I think like my presence makes people think that's what I'm there for. So it's kind of lonely, but yeah, most of the time I'm like side stage, and hopefully there's like a good vantage point where we can hear well and stuff. But yeah, a lot of the time I'm like backstage to save my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I
What?
don't like that. I really like miss um not caring and like just doing what I want. I miss that. If we're opening for someone, I definitely will go watch. It's a little easier for me to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But actually for this next tour, we designed a button for me that says, I love you, but I'm on vocal rest. So hopefully I can do that and just like point at my button. But I don't know. We'll
Well,
see.
should we make the announcement now? Just like, please just understand that you would like to talk, but you gotta save your voice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Get ahead of it. What's with that mask on your wall?
That is my good friend Ian. Shout out to Ian. He it's a little bit crooked right now, but he picked that up for me when he was in, I believe, Japan,
Oh,
quite some years ago, and he picked it up for me. I said that's so awesome, and I decided to hang it up, and it's been there for a while now.
I feel like
And
I remember it.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Ian. It's fun. I think I mentioned him before, but he kind of introduced me to Shannon the Clams in a way. He said, "Have you checked out this band, Shannon and the Clams?" I
What
said,
did you
"I
guess?
Yeah, so shout out to him. Love him, and I hope he's doing well. Getting back to business here, and then we'll go back to Ian. If you could open up for a band now, any band, who would you want to open up for?
Pulp.
Very nice.
100%.
That was quick.
Because it's on my mind at all times. And then, are you familiar with Pulp?
I do not know their music so well, no. But I
It's
know the name, I don't know the music. Good stuff though, huh?
Yeah, it's really good stuff. And I feel like so I went and saw him play 2 times back in September, and it was so inspiring. Like truly one of the most inspiring shows ever. And they're coming back in September again, and I really want to open for them, but it's like overlapping with another tour, and it just feels crushing to miss it. But it was like one of the most inspiring shows I've seen in a long time.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Now, if you could have any band open up for you, who would you want to open up for you?
Um, are you in a band?
No.
Oh, the Schizophonics is the band that played with us in Australia from San Diego,
Awesome.
bringing it back over and over and over again.
Hey, we love it.
Yeah. Okay, so what band would I want to open for us? Um, maybe I'm gonna go see this band tonight called Sugar Candy Mountain that I've
Mm.
definitely seen before a bunch, and they're awesome. They've been around, but I just think that they would be like great touring band. But the Clams are going on tour in April, and the band that's opening for us is so effing good. I like can't wait to see them play. I feel like we always get a hand in like choosing, or we try to have a hand in choosing the bands, but sometimes there's a lot of people involved in that. And this is a band that we all wanted to tour with really bad. Have you heard them? They're called Being Dead.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're so good.
Yeah, I really like them a lot. I've been meaning to catch them. Their KEXP was so good too.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
When does that tour start, by the way?
March 30th, I think.
Ooh, okay, coming up here. So, and
Come on out.
where's it starting?
In the southeast, in starts in Houston, I believe,
Ooh,
or
hey,
somewhere in Texas.
it's a big state.
It is a
Huge.
really big state.
Yeah. Have you been to eat every state, Shannon? Is that
Never been to Alaska,
mm,
and I think I've been through every state, but I think that's different than like spending time in every state.
and
Hmm.
and you cross it off soon? Take a little detour on this tour?
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to sometime go whale watching there or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe they have some hot springs up there. Who knows?
I bet they do.
Do a little DJ set up there in Alaska.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
do know bands that tour Alaska. They like ride in tiny planes and yeah.
What's a country that you have yet to either visit or play a show in that you think would be great to play a show in?
Hmm. Um, I mean, I would love to for the clams to go to Japan. We've never been. I went with Hunks a long time ago and it was wonderful. But I think clams would do really well there. Um, maybe like I would like to go to Eastern Europe and like somewhere in the Baltic region. Could be cool to play in Turkey. In Iceland, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Hmm. Going back to the newest album, The Moon is in the Wrong Place. What was working on that like?
Um, it was good. I felt very um focused and serious, and I felt kind of like a machine, which I felt very sure of myself the whole time, which is so rare. But I think that like, you know, the grieving kind of lit this like fire in me that just made me want to like work my ass off. So I felt like that album was like hard work, but the hard work felt really good because it felt productive. Um,
I like that.
yeah.
How long was the process? I mean, from beginning to write songs to recording to release, how long was that time span roughly?
So I had song, I don't know if this is what you mean, but like I had song ideas coming to me immediately, like after Joe passed away. Like I had song ideas a few days after, so like mid-August. But then we got together um January 2nd
Uh-huh.
and just started kind of like jamming and bringing excuse me, everyone's various nugs to the table and sorting through them and just like jamming, which is definitely not something I like doing, but it was a good process. It was like pretty fruitful. Cody has says the opposite. He says like we didn't get anything out of jamming. And I'm like, yes, we got a lot out of it. It was a very good exercise and I think kind of like a bonding exercise in some ways. We basically stayed at Will, the keyboard player's house, for like a week and we're just jamming. And then we went and recorded in March.
Wow.
And the recording took like a little over a week. Or maybe it was just a week. Dan likes to work very fast.
And you also like to work fast with Dan when you're on the other side of the booth, getting stuff ready for Black Keys and stuff. That's
Yeah.
also
Mm-hmm.
right, right, right. The energy is just it rubs off on you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Uh, is it ever difficult to get the ball rolling in these scenarios of like, okay, it's time to start working on a new album? Is that kind of shift into the creative mode difficult ever?
um I would say yes and no. So if someone was like, okay, you've got a year to write a new album and then we'll meet up, that would be so hard for me because there's no structure, there's no deadlines. And for me, I've always been um more creative with some structure and deadlines. So, did that make sense
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
to your question?
I'm with you.
Yeah, so sometimes like this album was very like I really felt um super tenacious and just ready to go 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 go. But in the past um yeah, there's times where it can take a while to get like in the groove. Like when I'm doing art, when I'm painting, do you know about like left brain, right brain?
Hmm.
I feel like I need to do certain exercises to be able to like slip over into the right brain and like function. It can be like that with music. And yeah.
Is it easier to start producing more and more once some stuff is already in the bag, like made, like okay, that song's completed and that song's completed, and you kind of just like ride that wave sometimes?
Yeah, or like that, say you like come up with a demo that's pretty good, and you're like, ooh, we're feeling good about this. Then it might kind of inform what would be like a great puzzle piece to go around it, or to like fill it, like if you imagine the album as a puzzle. Um, I like to make sure that there's like enough diversity in the songs and like there to be like for it to ebb and flow and it to have some like peaks and valleys. Like I feel like that I like every album to be a little bit of an adventure.
I like that.
Every album's an adventure when you're drinking Red Bull.
We get that one.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got that. Sponsor's gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Going back to this tour that is going to be starting later on this month. It's coming up quick. Are you guys are driving around in a van and a bus? What are you guys doing this time?
Dude, we got an RV.
Very nice. Now, do you guys split up driving equally, or do you have somebody else, a higher driver?
Not anymore. I don't want to drive an RV. That's so not my job. I'm not good at that. I don't enjoy it. I will be so stressed and I need to be like our drive times. I'm trying to make that my like dorky like meditation and warm voice warming up and like trying to rest. Because that's another thing that makes me lose my voice is not enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So Nate loves driving. Like he prefers to drive over, he either wants to be sleeping or driving. And he just loves to drive. So Nate drives, and we usually make sure that whoever's doing our merch, or sound likes to drive. That's it so far.
I like it.
Sometimes other guys in the band want to drive, but I'd say it's pretty rare. Cody like works all day long on his computer in the RV now. But yeah.
And then the next tour is going to be private jets, I've heard. This is just something that I've heard. This is what
Oh,
the industry's
good.
saying.
Yes. Okay. News travels fast. Yes. Red Bull got us jets. We each have our own jet, though.
And again, I mean, Red Bull gives you wings, and that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about here. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go out, well, I guess this last tour was the tour to be debuting some of these songs to a wider audience in a live format. From the Moon is in the Wrong Place. How do you feel when you're kind of ushering in new stuff into the set list? Are you like, I'm excited to do this, or are you kind of like, let's do some, pepper some in, and then have like staples kind of hanging out there as well?
Exactly. We pepper them in. So this next tour, I want to pepper in some different new ones. Um, I liked all the new ones we did, but like I want to make sure people hear this record, darn it, and hear our live interpretations of the songs. So Yeah, we'll be peppering.
Heavy on the pep. Remember that band Pepper? It's like a reggae kind of band, like newer reggae
I
stuff.
missed that.
From what I
Oh,
remember, I haven't heard Pepper in a while, but maybe being dead Pepper, Shannon the Clams, and after you hear Pepper, you're gonna be like, yeah, that totally fits into what to the to the soundscape of this tour.
yes. Yes. Okay. I'm feeling inspired. It's
Yeah,
coming.
San Diego vibe a little bit. Not to,
I was gonna ask.
mhm. They might be from San Diego. I don't know.
Actually, the first one of my first introductions to punk music was I was in San Diego when I was 15. I'm a late bloomer and was with my mom, my like godmother's daughter who's older than me. She took me on a like road trip to San Diego. And
And this is from Napa, right? All the way down.
yeah, all the way down. We were gonna go look at schools for her to go to college. And we go to this little all ages club on Mission Beach. And this band I really liked at the time, Head PE, was opening for Soul Brains. And I didn't know what that was. And we went in, it was like pretty reggae heavy and like not my thing. The guys looked really cool, but it was not my thing. But then they played these three punk songs in a row that I was like, what happened? Wait, how'd they go from like the reggae music to this? Like, this is so cool. And it's like these old ass dudes. And so for years, or maybe 2 years, Spanky, I'm telling you a story. I would like comb through all the CDs and records at, well, we didn't have records at my CD shop in Napa, the warehouse, but I would look and look and look under Soul Brains trying to find the names of these punk songs that I heard. And that's when I learned about Bad Brains. That just took me
Oh,
a few years. So they were Soul Brains like threw in a few Bad Brains songs. And so then I got a Bad Brains CD. Got really into it. Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
That's a good way of going about it. So shout out to Soul Brains
Yeah.
and to Bad Brains, of course.
Yeah.
If you do you ever have the opportunity to go see a band or a show and you didn't go and you regret it now? You go, "Ah, I should have went to that. Should have gone to see Soul Brains or whatever it may be."
Yeah. Definitely can't think of it right now.
It's all right. We can circle back.
Yes.
Oh, please.
ELO,
Mm.
which is one of my favorite bands ever, but like a full ELO set. And I think oh, hi. I can't remember why I missed it. I think I just like couldn't afford it at the time. But now like I'll never miss it again. I did go see them. Joe Walsh. Okay, okay, we're going back to San Diego. Actually, this is a crazy story. Do you want to hear a crazy story?
Please, of course.
It's off topic. Hi.
Let's get off topic, please.
So, here's Spinky. So so I don't know, for those people out there listening that don't know, my fiance passed away in August 2022. So we were supposed to get married in November. Excuse me. So a year after that, I wanted to do something on my like wedding date just so I wouldn't be like a sad sack at home alone. So I asked all these buddies because I saw that ELO was playing a show. It was like a Joe Walsh veterans vets aid tribute show. So Walsh was doing a set, so was ELO and like Flaming Lips and I don't know, some other bands. But I was like, what the fuck? ELO is playing on my wedding date. That's like, I have to go. That's the perfect thing. Because me and Joe were like huge fans together. And so I asked a bunch of friends if they wanted to go. They all said yes. I didn't tell anyone the significance of the date because I didn't want anyone to feel like pressured or, you know. go out of obligation. So we're getting really, really close to the date. Everyone drops out. I'm going from tour, flying directly to San Diego because they're playing, it's like at a big arena 30 minutes east of it.
Mm.
And I was like, wait a second, no one's coming now. I bought 4 tickets so that whoever came, I'd buy their ticket and their friend's ticket and they'd give me a ride home to LA. So then I'm like, okay, fuck. So I'm flying to San Diego. I have all of my tour gear with me. And I have nowhere to stay and no ride home. How am I going to figure this out? And it's on this like tender night. And I kept being like, damn it, you're just going to go and you're just going to have a good time and you'll figure it out. It'll be fine. My friend reaches out to me a few days before. She didn't know about this. She didn't even know ELO, which is crazy to me. But she's like, "Hey, what are you doing on November 12th? My friend's DJing in San Diego." And I was like, "Weird. I'm going to be really, really close to San Diego, but I'm going to go see ELO and go to this, special show, special for me." She's like, "Oh, well, don't go by yourself. You should come to my thing in San Diego instead." And I was like, "Thanks, but no thanks. I have these really clear plans." Okay, it turns out her friend is Drew Carey, who I'm now friends with, and he's DJing the event I'm going to. So then instead of being alone in the grass, which it was freezing that night and I would have been alone with all my shit. They probably wouldn't have let my shit in. Anyways,
No way. Yeah. I mean, what'd you have with like a you had the bass
I had
and
a
everything?
base, I had a big costume suitcase and then my own suitcase and then like a big, I call it the entertainment bag. It's my bag that has like my book and my notebooks and my crossword puzzles and my
Red
New York
Bulls.
Times shit. Red Bulls, like they would never have let me in.
No. Yeah.
So instead of being out there alone on this tender date on the green as far away as you could possibly be, I was like backstage with my friend Kiki and my new friend Drew Carey, and guess what? I got a ride home from San Diego in a fucking private plane, in a PJ private jet.
Who's it was Drew's, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Can you
Wow.
believe?
That's an amazing story.
I know. And it could have been like such a sad, harsh day, but it was great. But
That's
that's
amazing.
one of those shows where I was like, toward the end, I was like, I shouldn't go. That sounds like too fucked up, and I don't know when I'll get home. It sounds sad. And then it like turned around completely, became like one of the most memorable nights ever.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Where did you place all your stuff when you went into to see the DJ? The DJ Drew.
So I got to just like put all of my stuff in they had like black cars that they that they like basically then Drew sent a black car for me to the San Diego airport and picked my ass up, took me to some fancy ass hotel, and then they put us in a black car and all of my stuff and it just stayed there for the show.
Oh, right on. Shout out to Drew. That's amazing.
Thank you, Drew.
And
It
and
was,
your friend. I'm blanking on her name. You just said
I
it
don't know if I said
recently.
it, but it's Kiki. She's
Kiki.
awesome.
Yeah. And shout out to her too, of course.
Shout out
Ah,
to her.
that's an amazing story, Shannon.
Thanks.
Yeah. Um, Speaking on celebrities, we talked about Toby Maguire, I think, and Leonardo DiCaprio. We're at the
At
maybe
the record hang.
the record hang. Have you bumped into any more celebrities since we last chatted about that?
Okay, since we last chatted about that, yes, I bumped into, oh, I bumped into, have you ever gone to the Capri Club?
Oh, no, but I know it. Eagle Rock, right?
It's so cute and fun.
Hmm.
And my friend and bandmate works there, so I get a really good deal. But you should go sometime. Let's go.
It's right by Walt's over there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
exactly. It's a block away.
We'll go. Yeah.
Oh, but one time I was there and oh my God, I only saw this movie once with my niece when she's a kid, but the Jennifer Lawrence like fucked up future movie with bows and arrows and it's like a game. Fuck, what's that called? Something games?
I think it's the
Hunger
Hunger
Games.
Games. Yeah.
Okay, so the little guy PETA from that movie, her like love interest.
Uh, okay.
You don't know.
I'm not sure about who this
That's
is, but
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. He's one of those guys like when I saw him, I was like, thought I knew him, was like, oh hey, what's up? And then I was like, oh, never mind, you don't know me, but I liked that movie. Um, okay, and then a really, really, really good celebrity I saw was Danny Lohner from Nine Inch Nails. Was a big Nin fan for a long time. And I had Danny Lohner posters all over my room. Not really posters, but like pictures ripped out of like Metal Hammer and Rolling Stone and Spin and Ray Gun and stuff like that. That was good. He's hilarious. He's really, really, really funny. Um, I don't know if that's a good celebrity for you.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
taking all I can,
I
please.
made a really, yeah, I have a new friend and it's very funny. But Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit.
Wes Borland, is he does he play guitar or
Yeah. And
okay.
he does all the like makeup and masks and yeah. So when I was a teen, I hated Limp Bizkit and I just had to go along with it because it's what all my friends loved. I was more of like a Deftones person because I loved the singing. I had a really hard time in the new metal space and like rock. That was like not for me, but I tried, damn it. Um, but I always was like, but Wes Borland's cool. He's cool. He's artistic. And he is like the nicest, sweetest, funniest person and really talented. All his like costumes and masks he makes. He
Wow.
has like a workshop where he fabricates all that stuff. Anyway,
It kind of looks like Slipknot's mask in a way, yes, sort
yes,
of.
I
Okay.
was a big Slipknot fan when I was a teen because of the singing, because he has sometimes sings with a beautiful voice.
And you admire that.
Yeah, I think it was like something I could like understand, when I was a youth. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Shannon, I don't think I've asked you this question, and if I have, I apologize for it, but just kind of throwing you a curveball here. What is a perfect album in your eyes? What is a 10 out of 10 perfect album, no skips on it?
I maybe El Dorado, ELO, pretty sure, unless that has rollover Beethoven. That's a big fucking skip. Okay. Uh, El Dorado.
That's just about as much as you could sing of that, Janet, before we get demonetized on YouTube.
Okay. I think El Dorado by ELO is amazing. Um,
What's on the cover of that one?
the Wizard of Oz, like the witch and the ruby slippers.
Okay.
You don't
Trying to
know it?
I'm trying to picture it, but I'm having a tough time over here if I'm being quite honest with you. And I
Show
apologize for that.
you.
Oh yeah, okay. I feel like I've seen that
Classy.
before.
How'd they get away with that photo? Um, have you ever heard Dick Stuso?
I have, yes.
I'm a big Dick Stuso fan, and I would say In Heaven is perfect. And
His stuff's out through Hardly Art, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I wish he would do shit. I wish he would tour. Like he is such a great um songwriter. And maybe like Was Dead by King Tuff is perfect.
Yeah.
Is perfect. And then I've got Sorry, I'm just now I'm going off.
Oh, hey, that's good. I'm glad that this has hindered some synapses in your brain. That's what I'm trying to do here, Shannon. So
They're
heck yeah,
firing.
heck yeah.
Um, I think Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere by Neil Young is perfect, and After the Gold Rush is perfect. I think Harvest is probably perfect too.
That's three perfects right
What
there.
about for you?
A perfect album, no
Yeah.
no skips. The Violent Femmes, self-titled,
Oh, have you
perfect
ever
album.
seen them play?
3 times I have. Yeah, amazing,
We just played
amazing
with
performance.
them this summer in July in Portland, and like I love, they're like freaks gonna be freaking
They're awesome.
gigantic instruments and their style. It was like really fun. It was like, I am glad that you guys didn't get boring and normal, you know?
Yeah, but that's a perfect album for sure.
Yeah.
That Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass,
Oh,
with Cream and Other Delights. It's
yeah.
another 10 out of 10 album.
Okay. I definitely have that somewhere. So my Herb Alpert go-to song
Hmm.
is This Guy's in Love with You.
Hmm.
Is that on there?
I don't think so. I think that
I
might be
don't.
on Going Places, and I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
look
it's
at
not
you,
on.
Herb Alpert expert.
Have you ever gone somewhere, a restaurant or a bar or
Yeah.
someplace like that, that and you hear one of your songs come on over the sound system at a place? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, lots of times actually.
How do you feel about that? You like it? Does it make you feel a
I
little
like
bit
it. It makes me feel good. And I think sometimes people do it on purpose because they recognize me and it's funny. But other times it'll come on and someone will recognize me and be so embarrassed. Or, okay, this is my favorite one. I was in my hometown, which is like, it's not like the coolest, most informed of music place. And like we just played there on New Year's. And most people came from out of town, which surprised me because I have lots of friends and family there, but I Shannon the Clams doesn't really translate to Napa. But I mean, not much.
right?
Anyways, so I'm in my hometown. This is years ago when we had way less fans in my hometown. And me and Cody actually are in line waiting for coffee to order some coffee from this like cool little spot. And clams are playing. I'm so stoked. And I'm waiting for the barista to take our order. And I come up and I'm like, hey. And she's like, yeah, can I help you? And I'm like, she's like, what? And I'm like, oh, this is our band. This is our band playing. And she's like, I have no idea who this is. Can I help you? I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
just because it's on doesn't mean she put it on and that she loves it. But anyways, it was funny and humbling.
Oh my gosh, that's yeah. But you like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. This is reminding me of the one of the first interviews that we did together, that you were camping or something like that. I remember that story, that somebody was playing your music at the
That's
camp.
right.
Sorry.
I
Yeah,
totally forgot about that.
and go back and listen to that.
And it
Yeah.
was an old ass like MySpace version of the song. So it was someone that was like an original fan that like I don't know, were you around for MySpace? I have
No,
no
I mean I
idea.
was not on it. I mean I knew that it was a thing. I don't know what was going on there. I wasn't on it. I'm sorry. But
Okay.
nevertheless.
Yeah. But so MySpace was awesome for a few years because you could just download people's music for free. Like all these cool old obscure DIY bands that maybe were around for 6 months. You could have all their music and like you had it. And maybe they didn't even get a chance to make an album or anything yet. So otherwise it just fucking disappears. So, I loved it for that. So the version they were playing was this obscure early version we did that only made it on MySpace. So, yeah, that was fun. I'm glad you remembered that.
The best of both worlds there, Shannon. Also, I mean, you said that maybe the Clams music doesn't quite translate to the Napa crowd or that specific region. What would you say is like a staple? Like that's the kind of music that people are into in these communities surrounding the Napa area.
I don't know. I mean, we probably had, we had a lot of people at our show. Our show was packed, but it was mostly people from out of town. The night before, we did like a Q&A and a little acoustic performance, and that was packed, and that was mostly locals. So I don't know why they wouldn't come to the show. We'd never play Napa. But they did, maybe because it was free.
Hmm.
Fun. Um,
And that was a daytime performance, correct?
no, it was early evening. It was like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
6. But yeah, the other one was New Year's Eve, so it was late at night. You're right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of older folks in Napa. I don't know who would sell out, maybe like, oh, Dog Star sold it out one time.
Is it Keanu Reeves thing?
Yeah.
And of course you'd mention that because you are in the midst of like being friends with celebrities and stuff like that's your thing now.
That's my absolute thing. That's the goal of every day. I do an
Um,
exercise class, I do a podcast, and then I go seeking celebrity friends.
mhm. And you're pretty dang good at all of them, Shannon. I think you do a bang up job at each of these things. You excel at them.
Thanks.
Yeah. Uh, Going back to that New Year's performance, that was with I don't it was it with La Luz or was it just with Shanna?
With La Luz.
And shout out to La Luz. Amazing.
Such a
Amazing
great band.
amazing band. Um I picked their album up recently. I just didn't have it in my collection. The Weirdo Shrine one with the hands. Phew,
Classy.
amazing.
So good.
Amazing album. Um, but in terms of that specific performance, do you regard that as the last show of 2024 or the first show of 2025?
For me, that was the last show of 2024.
Because it started in 2024.
I guess so.
Hmm.
And I feel like we barely played after. I don't know. It's interesting. I bet a psychologist would really have a great time analyzing my answer.
What is your favorite song, at least right now, off of the most recent release, The Moon is in the Wrong Place? Doesn't have to be like a for sure, this is a hands down final answer, but just right now.
Yeah, I was just teaching myself how to play Life is Unfair. And that's definitely a favorite for me. I had a whole like amazing music video idea. I wanted that to be a single. That's more of a struggle than cutting songs, is deciding what the singles are.
Do you feel like there's a heaviness surrounding it, like that's setting the tone of the album, like this is what it's gonna be, or
It does. I mean, to me, the 3 songs need to represent the overall vibe of the record and the message. Um, and it's funny, like I have such a different way of looking at things than like Cody. Cody is like, no, that's too emotional to look at songs that way. We need to look at them like baby eagles, because apparently eagles are fucked up and they just pick their biggest, strongest baby and feed it the most food. So the other ones just rot and die and starve to death. It's like we just need to pick baby eagles to try and like, you know,
nurture?
have the best chance at like success for the album. I get where he's coming from, but to me, this is like a piece of art. We're making a piece of art, and I want everything to like make sense and be cohesive and present how I want it to present. But he's like, but don't you want as many people as possible seeing the art? It's a good argument, but
He's got
right.
a point and you got a point. Okay.
I'm
Well,
right.
do you feel like in between You're the Spider and The Moon is in the Wrong Place, do you feel like that was the shortest amount of time between releasing something and releasing a new album? Or
I
was
think that was
there
the longest amount of time for us.
okay.
I think, wait, I guess you probably know more than I do, maybe.
I might not.
I feel like so much happened between those two albums that they feel like a lifetime apart. They are a lifetime apart. Like COVID happened, my fiance died. I moved twice, like to two different states. Or no, I moved three times because I moved from Oakland to Portland, Portland to LA. Is that no, that's two times. Fuck. Um,
Still though.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
I do.
Uh, but yeah, they feel it feels so far away. And we try to play songs off You're the Spider, but for me, I feel so intense about our current album that's like hard for me to like under to like put myself because at the time in for You're the Spider, it's like I thought those were the hardest times of my life. And I guess they were at that time. But it's really hard for me going through what I'm going through to reconnect to those when they seem like child's play, you know?
I do. Um, Shannon, you're awesome, and I really appreciate you coming back on here. But of course, before I let you go, we got to do some promo stuff here.
Okay.
So just stick around for a moment if you will.
Yep.
I'm a Fool is out now. That's the most recent release from Shannon the Clams, and that's out through Easy Eye Sound. It is streaming everywhere wherever people get their music. That's where they can find it, and it can be purchased alongside The Moon is in the Wrong Place through easyeyesound.com, and as well as your solo album is also can be found there, and that'll also be linked below. And again, your music is also streaming wherever people get their music. And the merch, Shannon Clams merch, can be found through the website, right? Your guys' website, that's the best place to grab it.
Yes,
Right on. And
for
it's
sure.
at shannonandtheclams.com. And everybody can stay up to date with news, shows, and tours and all that good stuff by following the band on Instagram, right? That's the best place.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're
And
on
that
TikTok now too. I've been trying
it,
to make some TikTok videos. I've been going live and doing Shanioki, which is Shannon karaoke.
now let me ask you, was this account made before the band or after the band?
Before. It was made before.
So you've been around for a while now.
Yeah, but not doing much, but trying to do more. We're hip, we're cool, we're with it. Every youngster out there, we're with the times. We're on the TikTok.
Yeah, you're on the pulse of what's happening.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not sure how TikTok works, but there is like a username for TikTok as well. And
Yeah.
is it the same username that's at Instagram, which is Shan and the Clams?
I'm glad you asked. The only reason we had to be Shanna and the Clams is because some butthole took our name and wouldn't give it back.
Yeah, I've seen that. And
It's the same on TikTok. I'm really glad you asked. It's Shanna and the Clams.
Shan and the Clams, SHAN and the Clams on Instagram and on TikTok. Um, and also people should follow you on Instagram as well, Shannon, right? To keep up to date with all the funky stuff that you're doing. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
that's at Shannon Shaw on Instagram, just straight across, no underscores, no underscores in the Shan and the Clams either.
Right.
Again, that's just straight across. And the tour that's happening starting the end of this month, right? The end of March.
You better get their tickets.
March. What's the kickoff date on that?
I think it's March 30th. Glad you asked.
Hey, I'm doing my due diligence here. This is Red Bull is not just paying for us to dick around. We gotta do work here.
April 2nd is the first show, actually.
Okay,
Houston.
April 2nd. Okay, Houston, Texas. Buy your tickets. And
Mhm.
it's yeah, again, it's a Southeast tour, not a West Coast tour or
Right.
North. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing like Texas. We're gonna get to play New Orleans. We're gonna be all over Florida. Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time. So if you live around there, buy tickets. And if the show's coming up on the day and tickets are still available, buy those tickets even if you don't go.
Yep.
Yeah. And buy stuff at the merch booth,
Load up.
please.
Load up on merch.
And it's good merch too.
Yeah.
It's
Quality.
it's good quality stuff.
Thank you.
And Shannon, do we have anything else to promote?
No, but I'm glad you asked.
I'm
Really
glad
kind.
I'm glad I asked as well, and I'm glad that you came back on, Shannon. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna stop recording this. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
Okay.